Hello hello everyone. Welcome to Okta Networks CCI Enterprise Infrastructure Bootcamp Day 3. This is your trainer Abid Khan. Is the audio clear?
Yes,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm going to now mute all the participants. So let's begin. Let's continue. So yesterday we had seen I had shown you route redistribution. Okay. Let me pull up the diagram from yesterday. So we continue further. Over here. So this is the diagram which we used yesterday to understand route redistribution. We saw that R3 was having two routing process, RIP and OSPF, and same way R7 was having two process, OSPF and EIGRP. So we did redistribution on R3 and R7, right? And when we redistributed OSPF into RIP, what happened? Only OSPF got redistributed into RIP, not vice versa. That proved what? Redistribution is unidirectional. So if you want connectivity from both the sides, you want the routes to be exchanged to both the process, then you need to do what? Mutual redistribution. Correct? Now let me go to R4. As per the diagram R4, let's see what R4 has done now. Show IP route. Is it having redistributed route? R4 is an OSPF router. Do you see any redistributed routes on R4? Yes, you can identify in an OSPF routing table. You can identify redistributed routes. How? Any routes starting with O, that means it is OSPF route, and then if it has this label, it has this tag, it has this sticker E2, then that means what? This is an external route, means what? Redistributed route. Suppose I go to now R6. Let's see on R6 what is there now today. Show IP route. R6 doesn't have anything. How about R8? Let's see R8. What R8 has. So if we see R8 is having EIGRP, because all the routes are indicated as what? D, and this is what? An internal route, but this is what? An external route. So OSP in OSPF and EIGRP, if you do any time redistribution, all the redistributed routes, all the external routes will be clearly tagged. E stands for what? External. And in EIGRP it is clearly mentioned external, but in OSPF it is basically what? As I told you yesterday, it is what? Default will be what? E2. E2 basically means what? External type 2. Now there is external type 1 also. So what's the big difference between them? Default is external type 2, and there is another option which is called as what? E1. Now if you see the diagram, yesterday we did redistribution where? On R3. Okay, so R3 is a redistributing router. R3 is my redistributing router. Okay, so when I said R3, hey R3, whatever routes you are learning from RIP or any other routing process, or take for this matter, let's take R7 example. R7 is also a redistributing router. So whatever R7 is learning from R8, all the routes from here it is learning, I say redistribute into OSPF. So what R7 does, it redistributes the route into OSPF. What is the default behavior? Only by default only networks will be redistributed. Then we attached what? The subnet option. So once we attach subnet also, network as well as subnets, everything will get redistributed. Then metric I did not mention, I did not specify. Default metric is what? 20. So now R7 is sending the routes to its neighbor. So who are the immediate neighbors? R1 and R2 as per this diagram, right? So they both will receive the routes from R7. Let's say this route is there 80. If you see here, I have written here 80.8 on the router. So this loopback of R8 will be appearing on R1. R1 will be the first router. Let us just consider there is no R2 for the time being. Let us just see the flow. Understand? Okay, we are focusing on what? Understanding type 1 and type 2. So the first router who is going to receive the routes and install the routes in its own routing table will be what? R1. So let me go to R1 now. Let's see on R1 what's the situation. If I do show IP route, you can see hundreds of routes. You should focus on a specific route. Who is that? Which is that specific route? R8. What is the metric you see here? The default metric, right? 20. Then what will happen? As per the diagram, R3 will forward this route to whom? R3 forward this route to whom? As per the diagram. As I said, consider R2 is not there. R7 connected to R1. R1 connected to whom? R1 is connected to whom? R3. So how the route will flow from R like this. So the routes land on R3. Then R3 what it will do? It will forward the routes here. Then R5 will forward the route to R4, and then everybody in the OSPF domain will get the route. And if R3 is also redistributing router, then it will redistribute this router and give to its RIP neighbor also, if I have done that redistribution, correct? So this is how it will happen like that. But we are talking about OSPF. In OSPF, so R1, when R7 redistributed the route, what metric it assigned to the redistributed routes? Default 20, and that is visible on R1. And now if you see, if I go to the last router, who is the last router in the OSPF domain? R4. And in R4 also, for the same loopback, same network 80 of R8, what is the administrative, what is the metric, what is the cost? 20. So if you see, the route traveled all across the OSPF domain, but nowhere the metric, the original metric got changed. This is called as what? External type 2. External type 2 basically means what? The cost is fixed. Whatever the redistributing router will assign the metric, that metric will remain fixed. It won't change. Nobody has the authority to do that. If the metric has to be changed, then that instruction also has to come from the redistributing router. Only redistributing router will tell everybody what to do. When they receive the routes, what to do, to change the metric or not to change the metric. Now if I go back again, let me go back to now R4. No, sorry, R7. Okay, go back to R7. Show run type section OSPF. Let's see OSPF. So if you see, this is what yesterday I did, right? I went into OSPF and said redistribute EIGRP AS100 and subnet. That's the configuration, correct? Now I go back here. And as I said, metric I did not mention. I specified the metric. I did not specify. Default is 20, but now let's say I don't like 20. Let's say I want the metric to be 100. So I assign some value, because metric can be any number from, if you see up to, now see the metric also has increased. See the new IOSs. Previously OSPF cost used to be what? Previously OSPF cost used to be only 16 bit. Now how many bit it has become? This is 16.7 million. 16. This is like as good as what? 2 raised to 24. Anyway, normally because lower is always preferred, we don't make it higher. So let's say I put 100. So default was 20, but now I'm putting what? See 100. Okay, and then now let us see what happens on R4. Focus on 80 only. Always you should focus. So I go to R4. Do you see 80? And if you see now the default metric for 80, all the redistributed routes has now changed. It has become what? 80, except this one. Except this one. Why? Because this is not coming from R7. There are two redistributing routers, R7 and R3. So we just told R7, here R7, change the metric. There is, and this is just to show you. I'm not. There is no reason. I'm just, sometimes in the real exam they might ask you to change the metric. In OSPF, metric is default 20, need not be changed. But if they ask you to change, that is what I'm showing you. So you can, like, RIP and EIGRP metric is mandatory, but in OSPF metric is optional. So if they ask you to change, they say okay, redistributing router should advertise the routes with metric 100, then we do that. But what is the point now? Again, see R7 and R4. Between R4 and R7, there are almost 3 routers, 3 hops. But the metric, if R7 is advertising 20, it is appearing on R4 20. If R7 is advertising 100, it is appearing on 100 on R4 still. That means the metric, once the redistributing router sets the metric, it remains fixed, and that's the reason this is called as what? External type 2. External type 2 basically means what? Fixed metric, fixed cost. And now you tell me on R1 also, cost, when we say cost, basically it's like, some kind of charge. So if you see for R1, the first router, the cost is 100. Then R3 also the cost is 100. R5 also cost is 100. And R4 is also cost is 100. Doesn't make sense. This is called as what? Unrealistic cost. So E2 basically the redistributed route in OSPF external route E2 is what? Unrealistic cost. It remains fixed. That means the cost along the path. You have the links. Every link in OSPF has some cost. So that link cost is ignored. They are not, adding up the link cost. So it is not a realistic cost, realistic metric. So E2 external type 2, which is the default, is what? Fixed metric, fixed cost, and it is unrealistic, does not vary along the route, along the path. Every router the cost remains same, does not vary. Now suppose you have this requirement, redistribution in requirement in your lab, and they say, you have to do the redistribution, and the OSPF metric for the redistributed route must vary. OSPF metric for the redistributed routes must vary. That means they are telling you that now what? You can't have external type 2. So once you get like that instruction in your task, you need to go to the redistributing router. Okay, bring up repeat the command for the redistribution again, and then I can say metric type. See here you have 1 and 2. Default is already 2. Now it says, hey OSPF, redistribute other routing protocol route, redistribute all subnets as well as networks, assign the metric, assign the beginning initial metric as 100, and now this metric should keep, everybody should change, everybody should display the realistic metric, the correct metric. That means the the metric along the path metric must be added to this metric, whatever you are specifying now. So now if you see, once I've done this command now, first of all, if we go back to R4, if I go back to R4, I repeat the command. Instead of OE2 now, we'll see all the routes coming from R7. They will change. The sticker will change. The tag will change. Now it will be displayed as what? See E1. See two routes coming from R7. They got changed. Why this is E2? Because this is a route not coming from R7. This is basically what? R3 route. R3 is another redistributing router. So it is, every read is not common, no? Because if I'm doing the configuration on R7, if I'm doing the configuration on one router, only that router will get affected. Other router will still have their own configuration. So this is like localized. I localize instruction for R7 now. I did not do the instruction for R3, so R3 is still following its default policy. If I want R3 also should do the same thing, then what I do? I need to go to R3 also, and then I apply the policy same. And now you see the metric. What is the metric? Let's again focus 80. See, it has become now for R4, it has become now what? 104. How it has become 104? See here. The link between R7 and R1 is what? Gigabit link. In OSPF, the gigabit link default cost is what? 1. So when R7 is forwarding the route to R1, on R1 it will become what? 100 plus 1, 101. Then when it lands on R3, this is fast Ethernet. Fast Ethernet also cost is what? 1. So all the links are like fast Ethernet now here. So everywhere it will be what? 111. And that's the reason, if you see now, 100 is the original, 100 is the starting metric, and what is the cost along the path? 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, 4, 104. So every hop, the cost will be different. Every router along the path will display what? Different cost. If I go to R1, last time if you see, R1 was also showing, okay, did not, that time I did not do, but anyway, if you see 80, it was what? 20 default. So on R4 also it was 20. So now if I see now on R1, it should be what? See 80, 101. R3 will be what? 102, 480. See here. So this is called as what? External type 1. External type 1 basically means what? Realistic cost. External type 1 means what? Realistic cost. Means what? The metric on each router will be different. They will add up the metric. The path cost will be added to the original redistributing metric. R6 is a different protocol. R6 is outside the OSPF domain as per the diagram, my friend. It is a different router. Why it will follow OSPF? R6 does not talk OSPF language. R6 is a RIP router. For RIP, it's not applicable. This is a story of OSPF internal. This is internal of OSPF. In RIP and EIGRP, it's not like that. In RIP and EIGRP, they don't have all this external type 2 or external type 1, all this blah blah. If you see the routing table here. Let me erase. See here now. Do you see anywhere for EIGRP? EIGRP is very simple. Only two options for EIGRP. D for EIGRP and EX. EIGRP external. That's it. The story end. But for OSPF, we have so many options. Complex protocol. OSPF, OIA, N1, N2, E1, E2. So many options for OSPF. So that is what I'm explaining in OSPF. There is EIGRP, nothing. That's it. If you get some routes, you receive the routes, advertise the routes, and tag them as what? EX. That's it. Calculate the metric, whatever metric. There is nothing like realistic and unrealistic. Whatever metric, because already metric is mandatory. So if you put 5 times 1, the metric will be calculated as per 5 times 1. If you put the realistic metric from the interface values, then the metric will be calculated as per those values. That's it. But in OSPF, you have so many options, and that's the reason in your real exam also maximum part will be like OSPF. Suppose if you have OSPF and EIGRP, normally now Cisco doesn't ask much about RIP. Maximum questions you will get based on what your IGP only OSPF and EIGRP. So if you see like this, maybe OSPF would be like 60% on a scale of 100. In OSPF might be 40, EIGRP might be 40, OSPF might be 60, EIGRP might be 40, like that. Or it could be 70-30. EIGRP won't be more than OSPF because not much is there in EIGRP. But in OSPF, you have so many manipulations possibilities, So that's the reason maximum requirement, maximum task will be based on what? OSPF. Yeah, comparatively less will be asked in EIGRP. Okay, guys. In EIGRP, one difference is there now. Now let us see in OSPF. If you see OSPF, all the redistributed routes, in OSPF, on the original OSPF routes, O route is what? Original, means internal route. OI is also OSPF internal route. What is the administrative distance? 110. So internal routes, OSPF owned routes, their administrative distance is what? 110. And what about the external routes? Their external routes also administrative distance is what? Same, 110. No difference. But if you go to now R8, which is EIGRP, and if you see here, R8 is receiving an internal route, administrative distance 90, whereas all the external route administrative distance is what? By default 170. So in EIGRP, this is the difference. In EIGRP, anytime you redistribute any other routing protocols routes, they will be always advertised with a higher administrative distance. And you guys all know that what the criteria for administrative distance is what? Lower the administrative distance preferred will be the path. Now why Cisco did like this? Because Cisco created EIGRP after studying. Cisco engineers, they studied OSPF behavior, and then they created EIGRP. And when they created EIGRP, they programmed EIGRP. They said, hey EIGRP, anytime you redistribute any external routes, you will advertise higher administrative distance. Why? To prevent suboptimal routing, to prevent routing loops. Because lower will be always preferred. Higher will be not preferred. So what Cisco people started telling the customers, if you are using OSPF in your domain, and if you have redistributions and multiple redistributions, then there are possibilities of what? Suboptimal routing. There will be possibilities of what? Routing loops with OSPF multiple redistributions. But if you replace OSPF with Cisco's EIGRP, and even if you now have multiple redistribution points, same diagram, same topology, if you replace, you won't have possibilities of routing loops. So this is an advantage of EIGRP over OSPF. So this has been done on purpose. It's not like randomly select any value. No. They selected, of course the value can be random. They kept it higher because maybe, when all this thing was done maybe 25-30 years back. So in this 30 years span, some people must have thought they could people might come out with new routing protocols also, possibilities. So anytime a new routing protocol will come, maybe you have to give them administrative value, AD value. So Cisco picked up a 170, so that little higher. So if you see, remember RIP is 120. So RIP is 120 and EIRP external is 170. That would be possibility. If for future growth they kept like that higher. But the reason for higher is what? To prevent suboptimal routing. Okay. So this is your redistribution. I have explained you how to do redistribution, what are the important considerations while redistributing as per all the routing protocols. RIP, OSPF, and EIGRP explained what you need to remember while redistributing. If you don't do something, what happens? If you do something, what happens? If you see OSPF now configuration, see, I explained you, if you do this much only, what happens? If I do only this much command, what happens? You redistribute any protocol with this command, only this much command, what will happen? By default, only networks will get advertised. If you do this, then what happens? Networks as well as subnets will get redistributed. Then metric will be what? Default 20. If I don't want 20, I want something different, then this command. And then what will be the sticker? E2, external type 2, means what? The routes will be sent with what? Fixed metric. Nobody will change the route metric along the path. Nobody is authorized to change. Redistributing router says, hey guys, I'm sending you the routes. Whatever routes are coming from me, whatever metric they're coming from me, keep it same. Don't act smart. Don't add your own metrics. That's the instruction. So that all these instructions come from the redistributing router. And that's the reason in OSPF, if you guys remember, this redistributing router has a title, and it is called as what? ASBR. In EIRP, we don't call the redistributing router ASBR. Only in OSPF, this title, this logical role is given. The router which does redistribution, which brings in external route, we call it as what? ASBR, Autonomous System Boundary Router. ASBR. So, as in this diagram, what you see on the screen, who are the ASBRs? Yes, R3 and R7. Because R3 is also doing redistribution, RIP into OSPF. So any router who does redistribution in OSPF, it is called as what? ASBR. Originally it is an OSPF router. Now it also has this role. You know, this is like normally by default the router is what? Let's say like us only. Like a boy, he becomes big. Like a son becomes big. Maybe he becomes now 25 years old. So for the parent, he is still what? Son only. Now this 25-year-old son, what he does? He marries. He marries and brings a lady in the family, an outsider. So for the lady, he becomes what now? Husband. Logical role. So your son, your brother, your husband, logical role. So same way in OSPF. In OSPF, the router can be internal router. At the same time, it can be external route. It can be ABR. If it does redistribution, then it will be ASBR. You are introducing anything, so your ASBR. The logical roles. R6 will be RIP now. What is the protocol? What's the protocol? You should first ask yourself what's the protocol on R6. As per the diagram, the protocol on R6 is what? RIP. If it is RIP, what kind of protocol is RIP? RIP is a dumb protocol. Now if you see, first of all, R6, the routing is not there only, routes are not there only. What could be the possibility? Why I don't see any route? The first thing I should check is what is R6 having routing enabled. To troubleshoot this, first thing I should check is what R6. So if you see, yes, on R6 I have what RIP, and it is already configured for RIP. Then what is the next thing I should do? I should ping the redistributing router. R6 as per the diagram connected to whom? R3. So check reachability. If routes are missing, first thing is what? Check whether the routing protocol is there or not, or maybe somebody deleted the routing protocol. 36.3. So link is also up, configuration is also there. Now job is done. Now the fault is not on R6. The fault is where? On R3. If R6 is not having the routes, where is the fault? R3. So let us see on R3. Show IP protocol. What I see? OSPF. What I see? See, it is showing EIGRP 200. Do you see anywhere RIP? So this is something wrong. RIP is missing now here. That's the reason redistribution is not happening. Show run 5 section router. If I do, I'll see router OSPF and router EIGRP. Router RIP is not there. So how is it possible? How is it possible? That's the reason. So the fault is what? Somebody erased RIP itself. Let me go now and configure RIP. Router RIP v2 version 2 no auto summary, and then I'll do what? Network command first of all 5.5.36.0. and do I have a link? Let me advertise some look back. Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. So now RIP is there. So can I now redistribute in RIP? Yes, I say redistribute. Hey RIP, redistribute what? OSPF. Which OSPF? Process 1. How? Metric 1. Finish. If I say metric, I instead of 1, let's say I put 5. So if I put 5 now, how the routes will be visible on R6? How the route will be visible? What will be the metric on R6 as per this diagram? I am putting metric 5 on R5. So what will be the metric on R6? 5 only. Because that is what R3 will send. So R6 when it will receive, it is. When R6 will forward the route further, let's say behind R6 there is one more router. On that router it will become 5 plus 1. And like that it will keep on incrementing. Every hop, the hop count will keep on incrementing by 1. But on R6, if R3 is sending 5, it will be visible as 5 only. Let's see now. So I enter now. Let us go to R6. Last time no routes are there. And now you see all the routes have come with the metric 5. And what tag you see? Normal routes also RIP. Normal RIP routes are also what? Tagged as R. And now you see all these are basically what? Not real internal RIP routes. These are not R3s or RIP routes. These are OSPF routes which R3 is advertising into RIP. So this is called as what? The RIP is not a clever protocol. RIP is a very simple, basic protocol, dumb protocol. So in RIP you cannot differentiate. I cannot make out that these are all external routes. No way I can say these are external routes. Seeing this routing table, you cannot make. Seeing this routing table, we can easily make that this is external routes. Seeing this routing table, we can clearly make these are external route, this is internal route. But RIP router routing table, everything will be same, tagged as RRRR. Okay guys, so we are done with redistribution. Let's move to what? Next topic, route filtering, which was lined up. I had given three names: route filtering, route redistribution, route filtering, and summarization. So now let us quickly do route filtering. How the metric is 5? Once again, very simple. Na, I did that. It doesn't happen by magic or something. I'm telling R3, hey R3, you're redistributing this route, put metric 5, that's it. Yesterday I was showing you metric 1, today I'm showing you metric 5. We already discussed yesterday. We can assign any value from 0 to 15 or 0 to 16. Lower will be preferred. If they don't say anything, put 1 only. But I say, let's say they tell no, on R6 it should be visible as 5. Put 5, that's it. This is in your hand. Guys, you need to do your homework, please. Okay? You need to do first thing is what? Download GNS3 or download EVNG. Download the iOSs. Set up your own personal lab. We are only providing you what the technology. I'm only explaining you all the technology. I'm demonstrating the technology. Labs you need to create for practicing. If you already have nothing like it, good, great. But if you don't have, get it done soon. You can't delay. Now things will pile up for you guys. If you're really serious about CCI, don't waste time. Get GNS. It's all free. Search on the internet. You'll get even the iOS is also free. So install the GNS, VM, whatever. Prepare your own lab. You can easily. It should not take. This is like just maybe in GNS. This is to create this like this topology, 8 router topology. Will not be more than. It will not take more than 10 minutes to do this. Once you have the GNS installed. And you can use 70 to 100 series routers in GNS. Best use 70 to 100 series routers. You can even use the the IOU routers also, IOL, iOS over Linux. Those images also might be available. The only thing is that you need to do little bit search on the Google. Okta cannot provide you images. That will be violation of copyrights. If you see here, if I select, see, I have L3 IOU also. I have some 70 to 100 series router. I have 3700 series routers. I have installed in my GNS 3 routers, 3700 series routers, 72. Even if you don't have this L3 IOU also, no problem. You can even work easily. If you have only 70 to 100 series image, some iOS, go with it. You don't require advanced images and all, because certain things doesn't change. If you have iOS, see, all that is nothing. If you get everything in Eve is better. In one sense, Eve is better. Now, but in GNS3 also now, see, you can have IOU images also, L3, L2. So now it's all up to you people liking. What you should be worried more will be what you should have both also. Why not have to have both for certain basic things? It is easy to set up the lab in maybe GNS3. So for simple topologies, GNS3 is good enough. For a bigger topology, E will be better. So if possible, have both. Both are free. Next topic, route filtering. The name itself is what? Route filtering. Means what? You want to do filtering. Filtering basically means what? You want to allow something, you want to deny something. Filter, filter, simple. Filter coffee, you filter tea, like that. What we filter? What do you filter? If you're preparing a tea, what we filter? The tea powder. We just want the tea to have. We don't want the powder. So we remove that powder. The same way in the routes, in networks, you have routes everywhere, routes. So what could be a requirement for somebody? Maybe somebody doesn't want some routes. I'm sending you 10 routes. Maybe you don't want 10 routes. You want only 2 routes. So you don't like you want to filter 8 routes. So this is called as what? Route filtering. Route filtering basically means what? Filtering routes. Which routes? Which you find unwanted, not required, not necessary for the requirement, business requirement. Now if you see, we have done redistribution, right? We have done redistribution on R3. I have done redistribution on R7. I have done redistribution. So once I've done this redistribution, if you remember, I redistributed OSPF into EIGRP. So once I did that, what happened? Whatever R7 was having in its routing table, everything it forwarded to whom? R8. Everything, the route, all the routes, whatever R7 was learning through OSPF. Even in fact, if you see this, the RIP routes, all these RIP routes, they are originally RIP routes, but when they come inside OSPF domain, they become OSPF external route. So all these routes come over here to R7, and then R7 even redistributed that also to R8. See R8 routing table. Do you see 6? Let us see 60 is there. I repeat the command. Do we see 60 anywhere? Show IP route 60.6.6.0. R8 says network not in routing table. Why network not in routing? Let us see on R7. Do show IP route OSPF. Do I see 60? R7 itself is not having R6 redistributed route. Why the problem? Why like this? Let us check the other side. R4. Yeah, very good. So on R6, when we started, we checked R6. R6 routes were missing. So what I found, that on R3 RIP was missing. So we just configured RIP. So it is one way redistribution, correct? So if we want the RIP routes to come in OSPF domain, what you need to do? You need to go inside the other process, OSPF 1, and you need to say redistribute. Redistribute what? RIP. How? Like this. Redistribute RIP subnets. That's it. So this is good to understand redistribution. By default, if a router learns route from 2 or more process, what it does, it never exchanges the routes of one process into another process. That means this is a good behavior. The router is not like us. The router is not like us humans. What humans are doing? You receive some post now in WhatsApp. What we do? Every day in WhatsApp, everybody is doing what? Same redistribution only. You receive something from one friend or one group, you forward the same thing without Some people don't even read also some messages, don't even watch, see the thing completely. You receive something, you immediately share, you immediately forward to others. So by default, we do redistributions. In our language, in Indian language, we say यहाँ की वहाँ की यहाँ करते. But a router never does like that by default. But when we do redistribution, we are making the router like us. यहाँ की वहाँ की यहाँ. Okay. This shortcut for, as I said, shortcut for RIP is what? Redistribute is what? Red. In red, in Indian language, we call it as what? In our Indian language, Hindi language, what? How do we call red? Can somebody type? What is red in English, in Hindi? So that is what redistribution is nothing but what lal karna. So when I say the router lal karo, so he will ask kiski. So I say rip ki. Kaise? I say. Now we now will with this thing what I just told you. Will you remember for life? Will you remember this for life? Yes, this will be now forever for you guys. Please remember this. So that is what. Whenever I'm taking a boot camp in India, if all the participants are Indians, basically who understand our local language, then I will always tell them like this. So, we are always doing lal. We are always doing red. Okay then. At 9 a.m. we'll take a break, right? As agreed, we'll take a break for 10 minutes, 9:10 exactly. If I forget, guys, one of you at least just put a message. Tell me, stop, quick break. So route filtering basically means what? Permitting some routes, denying some routes, allowing some routes, denying some routes. That's it, as simple as that. And to do that, route filtering, we have what? Two tools. To do route filtering, we have how many tools? Two tools. What are the tools? Route access list is not a route filtering tool. Please understand, access list actually does not do anything. Access list is only a matching tool, a matching utility. It never does anything. It cannot even, when you start CCN in the very beginning, some people, they tell you what they tell you. To do traffic filtering, you want to drop packets, you create access list, right? Yes. So at that level, it is good enough to tell the student that access list is the with access list with ACL you can do filtering. But actually, if you create the access list, it does not do anything. When you apply the access list to some interface, then it starts working. So same way over here, route filtering or any filtering, access list is not the tool. The two tools are what? Distribute list and route map. So these are the two tools for route filtering, only two tools. And now if we have two tools, can I use anyhow? No. Distribute list you can use in specific environment, route map will be used in a different environment. Where route map is used, there you cannot use distribute list. Where distribute list is used, you cannot use route map. So now, anytime you get a route filtering requirement, you should ask, you have to decide the route filtering tool. We need to decide, you need to decide which tool to be used. How you will decide, you ask yourself. Okay, see now. Mm, I'll show the diagram now. Suppose I tell you, R8, R8, R8 is receiving some route from R7. Okay, let's say from R7, R8 is receiving 10 routes. R8 does not want 2 routes. Out of 10, R8 does not want 2 route, 4 route, whatever. That means the requirement is where on R8. So it's a route filtering requirement on R8. What you will do? Now you have to decide how you will do this, with distribute list or route map. You have to decide because both cannot be used on R8. So which is the right one? To find out the right one, what you will do? You will ask yourself, how many protocols do you see on R8? You ask, no, some diagram is there, or you can do show IP protocol, the command. So on R8, how many protocols do we see as per the diagram? Only one. So whenever you have a router which has only one routing protocol and you want to filter routes in that routing protocol, okay, what do? You use distribute list. That means when you have single routing protocol, the tool which can be used is only distribute list. You cannot use route map. There is no command, only single routing protocol. If the router is having a single routing protocol, distribute list is the tool. Why? Very easy. Why I can't use distribute list? Why I can't use route map? Because as I told you, you don't have that option only. You see, you want to see that? Go here. What the route R8? What is the routing protocol? EIGRP. Go inside EIGRP, because if you want to do filtering in EIGRP, you need to be inside EIGRP. So go inside EIGRP 100 and put question mark. See D question mark. Do you see option distribute list? Yes. DL stand for what? Distribute list. Do you see? See, I'm typing now R question mark. What do you see? Do you see route map? No, means command itself is not there. So I cannot use route map as a route filtering tool in a router who has only single protocol. If I go into OSPF also, it is not there. If I go into RIP also, not there. So all the IGPs in IGP, we are talking about IGP, RIP, OSPF, EIGRP, we call them as what? IGP. Okay. When we discuss BGP, that time we'll see BGP filtering. Right now, ignore BGP. First, let us, you know, tackle the IGP family. So distribute list now clear. When you will use distribute list as a routing protocol, route filtering tool, when you have only a single protocol, routing protocol on the router. And this distribute list can be used to filter inbound routes as well as outbound routes. Like if you see the requirement, what requirement I said, R8 is receiving route from R7, right? R8 is receiving route from R7, 10 routes. Out of this 10 routes, I want to filter routes on R8. I don't want all the 10. I want only maybe 8. I don't want 2. Then what will be this type of filtering? Will it be inbound filtering or outbound filtering? It will be inbound filtering, because the routes are coming in and I decide I want this or I don't want this. So it is inbound. Suppose R8 is having 10 routes here. R8 is having routes here, multiple routes. R8 is advertising 10 routes to R7. Now you have a requirement. R8 should not send 10 routes. Maybe R8 should send only 6 routes. Should forward only 6 routes to R7. So then in this case it will be what? Outbound filtering. Okay. So now distribute list, as I said, distribute list can be used to do inbound filtering also, outbound filtering also. But now you have an exception. What is that exception? Inbound and outbound is okay with RIP and EIGRP. You can do distribute list inbound also. You can do route filtering outbound also in RIP and EIGRP. But if your routing protocol is OSPF or ISIS, then you cannot use distribute list to do outbound route filtering. Only inbound is permitted. In OSPF, see, OSPF will always give you all the challenges. Trust me, all through the course, whenever we discuss some topic, this guy OSPF will have some different behaviors. Time to take a short break. So route filtering, what are the two tools? Distribute list and route map. And with distribute list, what we can do? We can do inbound filtering also and outbound filtering also. But we have exception. What are the exception? OSPF and EIRP. Sorry, not OSPF and EIRP, OSPF and ISIS. You can do only inbound route filtering with distribute list. We can't do outbound route filtering. Even if you do the command also, it won't work. Why? Because OSPF and ISIS, they are which category of protocol? Link state routing protocols. And link state routing protocols, you might be already aware. Somebody must have already told you that they don't exchange the routing table. They exchange what? LSS. So this distribute list cannot filter LSS. So only inbound is possible, not outbound. Let us see that now. We'll see practically. Okay, I'll show you again. Route filtering, you have distribute list and route map. Within, when will you use distribute list? Within a within a single routing protocol. If you have only a single protocol, then if you can use distribute list. And now when can I use route map? Between two routing protocols, that is redistribution. So when we do redistribution, while redistributing, if I want that, okay, OSPF, you are getting from RIP 100 routes, but only send 50 routes. That means I'm telling OSPF to filter whose routes? Some other routing protocols routes. That means I want to do filtering between two protocols. Then that is what is called as what? Redistribution. So in redistribution, what tool can be used? Only route map. You can't use distribute list over there. No option only. We can see that now. We are doing redistribution over here, right? See here the redistributing command, redistribute rip subnet. If you put question mark now, you see in the list only route map option is there, but there is no distribute list over here. Under router process there is no route map, so distribute list cannot be used for filtering redistributed route. The only tool you have to use is what? Route map. Okay, but these are the tools to do route filtering, distribute list and route map. But distribute list and route map, they themselves don't do the filtering because they don't know the routes, which routes to be filtered. So who will identify the route for distribute list or route map? Ultimately, it is our old friend ACL, access list. So you need to create access. Access list is not going to do the filtering, but access list job is to what? Define the routes which needs to be filtered. Access list tells the router, okay, which routes needs to be filtered. The access list is, that's the reason I call access list as what? Only a matching utility. We can just identify. See another example to understand access list now. Okay, you you are an admin. Okay, you, me, we are, let's say we are all ultimately network engineers. We're all admin. Let's say. Okay, so now somebody comes and tells you, says, listen, somebody comes and shows you diagram. He says, this R6 is having R6 is receiving some routes. R6 is receiving routes, or R8 is receiving some route from R7. You say yes, okay. R8 is receiving some route from R7. Like example 170.10.4.0, R5 also 170.10.5.0, R3 also 170.10.5.0, like that. Even 60 also. Let us see now R8 has received 60 or not. There you see. So R8 is having this route 60, R8 is having 50, then R8 is having all this 170, like that's all these routes. Okay. So somebody comes, he says, admin, show the routing table to me of R8. So you show him the routing table of R8. Then he sees the routing table and he says, okay, I don't want this 50.1.1.0. I don't want this to be on R8. I don't want 170.10.5.0 on R8. These two routes I don't want to be seen in the routing table. Do the job. So now he has given you some task. What is the task? You have to do route filtering. Okay. Which two routes he is telling you? Which two route is telling you? Let's say 50.1.1.0 and maybe 170.10.5.0. Two IP addresses somebody tells you. Ultimately routes means what? Ultimately IP address. Networks prefix are all ultimately IP address. So somebody is telling you two IP address. So this instruction, can you tell you verbally? He can tell you like that. I don't want on R8 50.1.1.0 and 170.10.1.170.10.5.0 like that. Somebody tells you. So now you know what is the requirement. Where is this requirement now? It's in your mind. So you are interested in what? Two IPs. You are interested in what? We are interested in what? Two IPs. What are those two IPs? 50.1.1.0/24, whatever the subnet mask, and the other one 170.10.5.0/24/28/30, whatever, doesn't matter right now. So two networks, somebody is telling you two networks, subnet, whatever, ultimately two IP. So somebody has given you that, in that thing is in your mind. Now how do you convey what is in your mind to your router? So from your mind to the router, to convey, the medium is what? ACL. So whatever IP addresses we have in mind, we want to permit them or deny them. To translate this from your mind to the router, to communicate with the router, you have what? The medium, the tool is, utility is what? ACL. So let's take this example now. On EIGRP right now is having so many routes. It is receiving R8 is receiving so many routes from R7. Now I get a requirement that I don't want this 50 on this one and 170.10. These two routes must not be seen on R8. That means it is inbound filtering because these routes are coming from R7. R8 is learning this route. So what do? I go inside the routing protocol. Which is the routing protocol? On R8 EIGRP, which is number 100. Inside this, what is my tool? It is inbound. It's a single routing protocol. No option. I just simply go and say distribute list. If I enter now, what happens? Then you see incomplete command. That means now distribute list says what? No, I can't do filtering. You need to specify me which routes you want to filter. But do you see option to specify the IP addresses? Can we specify 50.1. No. Can I specify 170? No, because somebody would like to filter maybe 100 routes, So you can't specify in the one single command in one line 100 routes, random routes. That's the reason you have an option for what? Access list. See, access list options are there. So I can specify what? Some access list number, standard access list number. Let me put some standard access list number. Let's say I say 70. Again, incomplete command. What is the next thing? The router is saying, okay, which routes you want to permit. Now distributed list says, okay, I will filter the route as per what ACL tells me. The access list number 70, whatever we define, based on that distribute list will do the filtering. But now the question is which routes? Inbound route you want to filter or outbound? So that is where the answer is in and out. You need to specify. There is no default direction. We have to clearly specify. If you remember, see, I put enter, it says incomplete. When you get incomplete means what? We have to provide the option. There is no default. So now for R8, it is what? Inbound. So I'll select what? In. And now if you put question mark, the command is accepted. So this is the minimum command to route filtering in a single routing protocol environment using distribute list. Did I define this access list 70? No, I have not defined it. I directly went into EIGRP. I called up the distribute list tool, and I said distribute tool list, use this access list 70 to do inbound filtering. And now let's see the routing table on R8. Did anything happen? Nothing. You see, nothing happened. 50 is still there, 175 is still there. Why? Because those two routes which I am interested in, but they are still in my mind. The router does not know what to do. What I want to do with these routes, the router still does not know. So now what I need to do, I define the access list. Distribute list, if you see, distribute list can do the filtering based on what? Access list. That means whatever access list will permit, distribute list will permit. Whatever access list will deny, distribute will deny. So what was the requirement? Denying two routes and permitting all. So that's the reason I need to create what? This access list. What was the number I decided? 70. I said deny. Which one I want to deny? First is what? 50.1.1.0. Wildcard mask. Always specify wildcard mask. Never put simple. Even if it is, if you are specifying a network also, still better to put wildcard mask. Make an habit, because if you don't, if you see for network, you don't, even if you don't specify that mask, wildcard mask, it will take the default, no problem. But then if you have like this habit for subnets also, you might forget the wildcard mask. So whenever they give you some requirement, your solution must be as specific as to the requirement. If they say filter only this subnet, only that subnet should get filtered. If any other subnet gets filtered, you lose the points. You will never get the points. So please make a habit that in the access list, whatever, always think of the wildcard mask. So deny, that was the first route. Then I can come back. And what was the next one? 170 10.5.0. Let's see. So now I created what? This access list now. So access list is created. So if you see, anytime there is a change, you know, EIGRP, if you see the neighborship, there is some resync, route refresh, like that. It is telling route configuration change. Yes, of course, route configuration is going to change, because now the filter is already applied and now the access list has also been created. I already created the access list, and now what happens? Do show IP route. If I see again, now what happens? I don't see anything. I don't want it to see, I don't want to see 50 and 170 10.5.0. Yes, they are not visible. But what about the other routes? All the other routes also got filtered. Why? Because the access list which I created, any access list if you create, if you remember, there is always what? Implicit deny. There is always implicit deny in the end. That's the reason you should always remember the concepts, that if you create an access list, if you start any access list starting with deny, in the end there has to be what? A permit statement. Otherwise everything will get denied. So access list 70, what I say, permit any. Again resync. No, I already explained now. You can't do this with route map. R7, yes, on R, but see, I'm specific requirement I'm telling you to do where? On R8 I told you. Customer told you to do on R8. Always think always think with a specific scenario. If you change the scenario, then the solution also will change. If I say filter, if you see, I said R8 does not want this route. So only think from R8 point, focus like that. We'll see something later that is different. You should have patience. Everything they'll show you. In the exam, they give you one scenario. You read that scenario, and then you'll go to the proctor and you say, sir, this thing I can do. Can I do over here? He'll say yes. Whatever you feel right, go ahead, do it. He's not going to tell you. If you think, he said, if you think okay, you can do it on R7, do it. And what will happen when the result will come? You fail. So when a particular requirement is given, you have to always, please, I'm programming you guys slowly for to the exam, to the your real exam requirement, like that. If you keep on changing your focus, you will land in trouble. This for you. For me, it's nothing. I can show anything. You tell me anything to do, I will show you and demonstrate that. But always start developing this habit of thinking as per a particular specific requirement. Always try to develop this habit, because this is very important. If they ask you to do something in a particular way, it has to be done that way only. If there is no specific requirement, they simply say okay, do. They say, oh, on R8, see now that requirement. See, listen the carefully. You are the administration, you are the admin of R8. R8 should not have these two routes. Configure R8 accordingly. Now, like this task clearly given to you, where you will do the configuration, you have to think only of R8, because they said configure R8 accordingly. Now see, same thing I can tell you the other way. I say, okay, R8 is receiving routes from R7. There are routes coming in on R7. In R8 routing table, these two routes must not be visible. Configure accordingly. That's it. Now, if somebody does the solution on R8, he also scores, and somebody does the solution on R7, he also scores. But still the solution who somebody has done on R8 will be more better. Why? Because they said R8 is receiving. Suppose I do the same thing on R7. From R7, it will be like outbound filtering with using route map. If I do that, what will happen? R8 will not have the route, but the whole EIGRP domain will not have those two routes now. Because I am showing you, please understand this in a diagram. I am showing you only maybe one link, but is there a possibility? Can there be like this another router here? Can there be another router here connecting all inside multiple? Do you think only between two there will be always only two routers? No, there can be more. So if you do the filtering on R7, it will be applicable for the whole domain. Again, please read the task. I said R8 routing table has this route. R8 should not have this route. The best solution is what? You should do it on R8 itself. If I can do it on R7 also, after doing the configuration, R8 won't have the route. But what will happen? Other routers also won't have those two routes. So always think from a scenario point of view. What the task says. See, this is what is tricky. That's the reason, everybody doesn't pass the CCI exam first attempt or like that. Because this is where the misunderstanding happens by the candidate. If all the candidates, I'm telling everybody who goes to the CCI exam, they all prepare, they do a lot of hard work, but then all doesn't happen, all doesn't pass. Even maybe everybody might be using the dumps, but still everybody doesn't pass. Why? Because on that day you do some, as I said, somebody does what simple silly mistake of misunderstanding. Only because of this silly mistake of misunderstanding the requirement, people fail. Their solution they do, everything is working. Whatever the task is complete, but they don't think about the other consequences. We should always be careful what they're asking you to do, which is the best place to do this filtering. Got it? Let's move further now. Now let's see, like R6 is advertising some routes here. Okay, what are those routes? Let us go and see where on R3, because R3 is the router who is going to receive all the route from IP route RIP. So if you see R3 is receiving 3 route, that means if R3 is receiving 3 route from R6, that means R6 is advertising these 3 routes. Suppose now I give you a requirement, R6 should not send any private IP addresses, any private IP address routes to R3. R6 should not advertise any private IP addresses to R3. So if you see on R3, R3 is receiving what? 3 routes. Which are the private IP address routes? 192, 168. These 2 routes are the private IP routes. Only 60. But on R6, what is the requirement? R6 must not send any private IP addresses routes like that. Any private IP addresses routes to R3. They did not specify, the task did not say that R6 must not send only this couple of 2. Right now there are only 2, but they did not mention, they said any private IP address. So what I do now, as per the diagram, what is, how many protocols R6 is having? Only one protocol. That means it is what now? Distribute list. What will be the direction? Outbound direction. Let us go to RIP, router, RIP, distribute list. Again some access list, let's say I will say use 60 and I say out. If you see, actually after this out, in and out direction also there is option. What is that option? We can specify what? A specific interface. Also now again you need to understand now, is this command enough or is interface is enough? So see now, let us see how, when we will specify the interface, when we should not specify the interface. What I'm saying, R6, R6 should not advertise any private IP address routes. R6 should not advertise any private IP address routes. Configure accordingly. R6 should not advertise any private IP address routes. Configure accordingly. So I'm not specifying where to be done, which router I'm not specifying, but I'm saying who is supposed to do the filtering? R6. Now, what to do now? Should I put in an interface or should I not put interface? I will not put interface. Why? Because they did not specify. If I say R6 should not advertise any private IP address routes to R3, if so, now I'm clearly telling, as per the diagram, R6 should not send the routes to R3 private IP. Then that time I need to specify this interface. So to specify the interface or not depends on the requirement. If see, this is a global requirement that R6, because there could be other neighbors also. There could be other neighbors also connected to R like this. So R6 has this routes, private IP address. So the task says R6 should not advertise any private IP address routes. So in that case, I don't specify. When you don't specify the interface, then it is applicable on all the interfaces. But if I specify a particular interface, then it is applicable only to a specific neighbor. So when they specify a neighbor, then you need to specify the interface. If they don't specify a particular neighbor, it's a global requirement, then you don't specify the interface. Clear, guys? So to specify the interface are not clear? Yes, good. So let us now quickly do this. Let us in global will keep it, okay, instead of wasting time. Done. Did I clearly specify the access list? No. RIP, in RIP sometimes what happens when if you do some configuration, it doesn't happen immediately. So that's the reason you need to sometimes refresh what the routing table for RIP. So clear IP route star, maybe 1 2 3 times you should do. Let us see now. I applied the filter on RIP in out direction, but access list is not created. This is the output on R3 before my configuration. No change. So you know what is happening on R6? Distribute list tool is there. It says okay, I will do the filter in out direction as per this access list 60, but the router searches R6 looks for 60. There is no access list 60 around. So it says okay, since access list 60 is not defined, I will not do the filtering. Now we define the access list 60. They did not specify a specific private. They said R6 should not advertise any private. So in class A, what is the private IP address? 10. So this is the IP address for private IP address in class A. Then 172 in class B. What are the private IP addresses? 172.16.002, 172.31.00/20/16. How do I specify that? First octet won't change, 172 won't change. If you do 0.0.255.255, what will happen? Only 172.16 will get filtered. All the subnets of 172.15 will get filtered. Then for 17 you need to do again. Then third 18 like that. No, in one single line. So what I do, I use 15 as the. And then third octet can be anything. Fourth octet can be anything. This is the wildcard mask for specifying the range from 16 to 31. In your access list, you can have powers of 2 or 1 less than the powers of 2. So from 16 to 31, it is how much? 15. 31 minus 16 will be 15. So straight away put 15. You can only put, you know, powers of 2 or 1 minus powers of 2. Whatever is the power. 2 raised to 4 is 16. 16 minus 1, 15 is a. I can't put 14, 17, 18. Any number cannot be specified. Only powers of 2 or 1 less than the powers of 2 can be specified in the wildcard mask. Then class C. Class C is how much? What is the class C private IP? Only 192.168.0.0. Wildcard mask here means I'm saying 192.68 won't change, but third octet can change, fourth octet can be anything. So deny all the routes starting with 192.168. Third octet, let it be 1 0 anything, everything in third octet, everything in fourth. Done. So now access list is already created, and in the end finally permit shortcuts, save time wherever possible, save time. Every single character you type takes maybe half a second, maybe quarter second. Every second you save in your real exam will help you. Let us see on R3 now. Always verify. Nothing. Slow convergence of rate. And now finally, only one route is coming from R6. All the private aggregators, any private aggregators, if R6 previously was advertising, now they get blocked. So now I've shown you inbound filtering also, outbound filtering using distribute list. Let us take an example of inbound filtering in OSPF. Let us go to R5. Let us see the routing table of R5. So see, R5 is having so many routes. Let's say R5 says I don't want 70. R5 admin doesn't want this 70 route. Now behind R5, who is there? As per the diagram, behind R5, who is there? R4. Okay. So if I filter 70, if on the routes coming in to R5, if I filter 70, once I do that filtering, what will happen to R4? See, right now R4 will also have 70 because R4 will get 70 via, if you see R4 says I know 70, I know how to go to 70 via R5 because R5 is the router who is going to forward the route because R4 is behind R5, right? As per the diagram, see the topology. R4, this is my GNS topology. R4 is connected to R5. Only R4 is not connected to any other router. So all the routes, anything R4 is receiving, it is only receiving via R5. Like R5 is like a default gateway for R4. So now a requirement comes to R5. You are the admin of R5 and you say, I don't like 70, I don't want 70. So now which protocol? How many protocols on R5 as per the diagram? Seeing a diagram, you should make out. It's a single protocol. Which tool? Distribute list, DL. Very good. So go inside the routing protocol. With OSPF, better to do always show IP protocol. Why? Because there could be multiple OSPF process. You don't assume always it is OSPF process ID is always one, because maybe in your real lab on some router Cisco might have, the routers will be already having pre-configurations. Please understand, in your real exam you don't get anything to configure from scratch. Already some initial configuration will be there, already some pre-configuration will be there. You need to just do one or two tasks. It's not like you're going to set up the whole thing. If you want, if you really want to do all those setting up the whole network and all, this is the right time. Create your topology and keep on practicing like that. The whole topologies. In your exam, you'll never get. You have to do everything is pre-configured. All the routers, switches, whatever the devices will be provided to you, they'll be already having pre-configurations. It's like just you need to fill some gaps, fill in the gaps, not like do something from scratch. Of course there will be some tasks, some some they'll give you something which will be required to do from everything from beginning, but not like routing will never get like from beginning. It will be pre-configured. My requirement is what? R5 should not get the route. So R5 admin does not want this route. So better always check OSPF router OSPF1 distribute list is there. API specifies access list number 50 and it is R5 is receiving this now from somebody, so it has to be what? In direction. If you see put question mark, in and out options are visible, but as I said, even if I do out, doesn't work. And then Do I need to specify interface? Yes, let me be specific. R5 as per the diagram is going to receive the route from where? As per this diagram, R5 is receiving route from where? R3. So basically the link, the interface towards R3, I should apply the filter on R3 or R5 incoming interface 1/0. What is this interface? Gigabit 1/0 on R5. No, R5 is fast Ethernet 1/0. It is fast Ethernet R5. Or I can check on R5 itself. Before doing this, we can check also. Do show IP interface brief. What's the link towards 535 subnet third octet? It is fast Ethernet 1/0. Okay, always better to confirm. You know, fast Ethernet 1/0. While specifying the interface, you should be careful. You can use shortcut as I said. Okay? Done. And now I define the access list. I say access list may be 50, 9, 70.7.7.0. Rest all, permit any. Now let's see. Do show IP route OSPF protocol routing table. Do you see 70 there? Still, I still see the 70 there. Sometimes again, in OSPF better is what? Do clear IP OSPF process. Let's refresh the process. Always check the configuration. Distribute list 50 in fast Ethernet 1/0. Good. So do you see now 70? 70 is gone. 70 got filtered. Now there is no more 70 on R5. What about R4 now? If we go to R4, will the route be present on R4 now? All the routes were coming to R5 like this. Over here I applied a filter, and this filter dropped 70 on R5, and then all the remaining routes got installed in R5, and then R5 forwards the route to R4. So I'm asking you now, will 70 route will be present on R4? It will be still present on R4. Even though R5, when the routes came in on R5, R5 filtered the route, R5 doesn't have that route, but R4 will still have the route. R5 again, let us check. It is having 70, no. But if I go to R4 now, let us repeat the routing table, show IP route, and you see 70 is still there. The reason is what? Not because we applied on the interface. Even if I don't apply on the interface also, it will be still not there. The reason is what? OSPF is a link state routing protocol. Link state routing protocol, they do not exchange their routing tables. They exchange what? LSAs. And what happens in LSAs? Again, see, slowly you will be learning side by side the base, the details of OSPF. Anytime, now I'm asking you a very important question. Anytime in any OSPF router, okay, listen carefully. Any OSPF router receives any LSA, what it does with that LSA? Anytime any OSPF router receives any LSA, what it does? The first thing any OSPF router will do with the LSA, it will check. Of course, first thing is what checking whether the LSA is valid or not, whether the LSA is new or not, because every LSA has what a sequence number. So after that, checking what it does first. What is the first thing the OSPF router will do? If let's say it's a new LSA, suppose. So anytime in OSPF router will receive any new LSA, the first thing when OSPF router does is what? Makes a copy of the LSA. It does not makes a copy of the LSA, does not update its link state database. First thing is what? It makes a copy of the LSA. So suppose, see now here, I'm using blue color. Let's say a new LSA comes. Let's say some new LSA comes. Okay, first time, so I'm numbering one. So what R5 does? It makes a copy of this LSA. Okay, it's like this router is having like a photocopy machine. So immediately, does not read also. Just only checks that okay, this is something new. Okay, I'll make a what copy. Okay, so once it made that copy, so the copy it keeps with itself. So copy it puts where? In its link state database. But what next it does? Forward the original LSA further. So in this LSA, let's say there were 100 routes, the original LSA. R5 made what? A copy of this LSA. So this copy also has those 100 routes. Okay, it puts this in its linked database. Okay, and then it forwards the original LSA further to other neighbors. So now when this LSA lands here now, will 70 be present in the LSA? Yes, 70 is still there here. And that's the reason you see on R4 70. Now what R5 does with the copy? Now it applies with that LSA its own policy. And in its own policy, what we said, hey R5, if you see 70 anywhere, deny. So from that LSA, whatever is there from the database, it drops 70. Say 70, sorry, you cannot go in the routing table. So that's the reason on R5, 70 is not there in the routing table, but 70 is still. So all subsequent routers, if I do filtering, inbound filtering on any OSPF router, whatever routes I filter, they will not be visible on that particular router only. All other subsequent routers will still have that or will still have those routes. Why? Because OSPF, like first, like one explanation somebody must have told you. OSPF routing, linked routing protocol, they have first-hand information. They have complete picture of the topology. How complete picture of the topology? How first-hand information? Because you don't tamper the original information. Whatever you receive the original information, you forward it as it is to everybody. Every router individually will take its own decision to do whatever we give the instruction. Clear guys? LSA OSPF working. Anytime any OSPF router will receive any LSA, after checking for the sequence number and all, first thing it will do is what? First important it will make a copy. Keep the copy with it yourself. Forward the LSA further, original LSA further to your other neighbors. And that's the reason everybody gets what? All the information. This is how fast convergence. Why OSPF convergence fast? Because everybody starts doing the calculation simultaneously. Because every router just make a copy. It's not like updating itself first and then forwarding. Like distance vector routing protocols, they update themselves first. Their database they update, then they will forward next. No, here you receive something new, make a copy, forward. Then you start working. The others also will simultaneously start working. Okay. In RIP, suppose this is RIP scenario. We have like this router here. I have like this router here. We have router here like this. Behind also maybe some routers like that. So some inbound routes are coming. you apply a route or you apply a filter on R6. We apply a filter on R6. Let's say I deny, let's say, 50 route. Once I do this on R6, inbound filtering on R6, then what will happen? Will we have 50 route on this remaining routers? Let's say I name this router as R9. Will R9 have 50? No, because this is not OSPF. This is not link state. This is distance vector. That means distance vector, when the routes come in, the router first applies the policy, updates its own routing table, then forward its routing table to other neighbors when its timer expire or when it is a triggered update. And that's the reason in RIP routing protocol, in EIGRP also same way, because EIGRP is what, hybrid. It has features of what, distance vector as well as link state, both the features. So in EIGRP also the same thing. If it is R8 also, if R8 is connected behind some other router, behind maybe R10, this is EIGRP. If you have in some routes coming in, you apply some policy. Once you have that policy applied, you filter some routes, then those routes also will get filtered on the all subsequent downstream neighbors. So in RIP and EIGRP, inbound filtering will block the routes for everybody, the router who is filtering as well as all the subsequent downstream routers. But in OSPF, not like that. The route will be there. But anyway, it is useless. Even if the route is there now, even if the route is there on R4, see, R4 says, yes, I can go to 70, but how do I go to 70? Next stop is R5 only. So if I try to ping now from R4, what will happen? R4 will forward the packet to R5, and when the packet will come to R5, R5 will check its routing table, and inside its routing table there is no 70. So ultimately communication won't happen, traffic won't flow. So it is, even though route is visible in everybody's routing table, but communication won't happen, because everybody, when they will forward the traffic for those particular route 70, the traffic will come and land where? On R5. And R5 will drop the traffic. This is called as like black holing. This is called as what? Black holing on R5. Even though everybody has the route, they forward the traffic for that particular destination, and it comes to some device, it comes to some location and get dropped. It does not go to the destination along the path. This is called as what? Black holing. So R5 will black hole the traffic for 70. Now let us take a scenario with route map now. Route map between two protocols. Okay, let me clear all this thing now. Let us take this example now on R7 and R8. Now what my requirement is, what? EIGRP domain. Okay, EIGRP domain should not have, maybe, I don't know what. Let us see what routes are there already existing in R8. Okay, let's have this requirement. EIGRP domain, they should not get, where we have, see, maybe 35.0 and 45.0/20. These two routes should not be visible in EIGRP domain. This is the requirement. All the routers in EIGRP domain should not have this route. So if you see the diagram, who are the routers in EIGRP domain? Only R7 and R8, like that, as per the diagram. But they say all the routers, they did not mention R8. They said all the routers in EIGRP domain should not receive this route. Which two routes? 35.0 and maybe 45.0 or 45.0. These two routes should not be visible in EIGRP. So I will go to R7. I will check R7 is having those routes. Yes, R7 is having those routes 35 and 45, but they are basically in OSPF. Are they in EIGRP? No. So R7 itself is, but R7 is forwarding these routes to where? EIGRP. So this time I want to filter these OSPF routes from OSPF to where? EIGRP. So I want to do route filtering between two protocols. What is my option? Route map. I'll bring the EIGRP configuration. I'll say do show run pipe section EIGRP. And you see we have this filter because of this configuration. No, sorry, because of this configuration EIGRP inside. I'm saying EIGRP, whatever you have in OSPF, you redistribute. So because of this redistribution, all the routes of OSPF, they are getting advertised in the EIGRP domain. So what I need to do? I get back that command, and in the end, if you put question mark, as I said, you have an option for what? Route map. Route map. Maybe I say maybe no something. I give some name. No OSPF like that. And after that, what you see, there is only match like that, but there is no direction. So there is no in and out. Why? Because redistribution itself is what? Only out direction. There is only outbound. There is no incoming. There is no inbound. Okay, redistribution always happens in what? One direction, unidirectional. It is always in out direction. So I simply say yes, finish. Now what I should do? What is my requirement? What is my requirement? Two routes I don't want. So I immediately create what? First access list. So let's say I create access list 70, or maybe I don't know, 77. Let's say 77. I deny those two routes. Okay, or I'll, in whatever route. See, now this is the reason I will explain now. As I said earlier, access list does not do any filtering. So now if you see, I'll my requirement is what? Permit the deny two routes, but I'm in the access list. See, I'm doing permitting. I'm saying access list permit 170.10.35.0.0.255, and then I say access list 170.10.45.0, but my wildcard might is /28. I mean, should be as specific as possible. So can I specify 245 in the wildcard mask? No. It will be what? 28 will be what now? 240. 28 in the last octet is what? 240. 255 minus 240 is what? 15. So I'll put wildcard mask 15. I need to be very specific. The access list. So I created an access list, and I want to deny those routes, but in the access list, what I'm doing? Permitting those routes. Why? Because now who is the filtering tool? Route map. And this route map is not like distribute list. Route map has its own powers of permitting and denying. So now finally I define what? The route map. Route map, you should be very specific about the name. It is case sensitive. Name of the route map must exactly match. And then if you see, I put question mark, you have option deny or permit. What is my requirement? I want to deny those routes. So here I say, okay, access list, I don't care whether you permit them, I will deny them. So here, see, route map is showing its power, deny. And then if you see, you have what? Sequence number. So this sequence number makes the route map what? A scalable tool. So if I don't specify the sequence number, default will be what? 10. Increment is 10, but better always, don't depend on the device. We can always use 10, 20. You can use even 100, 200 also, doesn't matter. And then I match that access list. Match IP address, the command, and the name of the access list. What is the access list number? 77. Finish. Okay. Exit. Now what will happen? These two routes, they are what? A part of access list 77. Access list 77 I put under which sequence number of route map? 10. So route map 10 is using this guy 79. And what X77 says, hey access list, whatever you permit, send them. So what access list will permit will send these two routes to where route map sequence number 10, and route map sequence number 10 says I am going to deny you guys. So route map now says you guys are denied. But access list also has in the end what implicit denial. What about the remaining routes? So what about the remaining routes? Remaining routes will not come to sequence number 10, because if they come to sequence number 10, they will get denied. They go to what? Next sequence number of route map. Did I create any next sequence number of route map? No. That means now route map also has an implicit denial like access list. So if I define a route map, the first sequence number, whatever first sequence number I deny, I create, if it has a deny action, there is also an implicit deny. So that's the reason whenever you create any route map with a deny sequence number, you should always do what? Create a permit deny statement in the end. Permit 20, 200, whatever. If I don't do this, what will happen? These two guys will get denied and everything else also will get denied, because route map is also like access list. It has its powers, permitting and deny, and it also has same like implicit deny in the end. If you begin any access list with deny, we always put what? Permit statement in the end. So same way, if you create any route map with deny, there should be always a permit statement in the end. If you don't specify the permit statement, it will get denied. Okay guys, let us see now what happens, and then we wrap up for today. So before, you had these two guys in the routing table of R8. Now let us see, those two guys are there. See now those two guys got filtered. 35 and 50, 45 are not there in the routing table. Clear guys? We'll see, that will continue tomorrow. So time to go now. Time to say goodbye. So everybody